Pompanos seem to be especially fond of pink or yellow jigs. So we're gonna tie a little pink pompano jig for you that we used on the show. It's gonna work great. Materials for a pompano jig are simple. The jig head, preferably, you need to tie it on a 1/4 or a 3/8 ounce head. If you're tying pompano jigs, tie them on both. It all depends on the depth of water. We're gonna use a pink bucktail, a little bit of crystal flash, and some pink thread. You could also tie them in yellow. That seems to be the other color that they like a lot. This is going to be the first step of tying the pompano jig. We have our jig head. We're going to start our thread right behind those two little lead lumps. Now, this may seem a little unorthodox what I'm about to do, but I like to tie my jig heads like this. I pick out all the hair to make sure I can get kind of a uniform length. All right, square off the ends. Then I like to tie the hair reversed going out the head. The reason why I do this is I double the hair back over itself. It doesn't pull out as easily. It just makes the jig much more durable. So I put one application on the bottom, then I'm going to measure out so I can roughly keep my same length. Square off those ends. I'm just going to roll this over, put this bunch on top, and pretty much it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Now I can tie this on. I can even leave that. Now I make sure that I've got equal amounts of bucktail all the way around. Okay? Now I can make sure that that's lashed on there good and tight. I'm going to saturate this all with head cement and get it nice and wet. I'm going to pull this back. Sometimes you got to pull half the bunch back just to get it going. Get your thread in there. Get a couple wraps. Flip it over. The hook's really sharp. Okay, now work that all around. Get that all dispersed. 360 degrees around the hook. This gives me a nice double back. Guaranteed never to fall out. Now, I'm not saying this is the way jigs are commercially tied. I don't know how they commercially tie them to keep that hair in there, but I do know this. If I double back on that hair, they don't fall apart as easily. Now I've got a nice little pink jig with a nice head. I'm just going to take 3 strands, 4 strands. It's not mandatory. It's all up to you. Now, this is the fun thing about tying jigs. It's, and flies too. It's all in your imagination. What you think's going to work good. Try to match the fish or bait that you're looking for. Just going to whip finish. Trim off the tag end. Man, that's a good looking little pompano jig. Saturate these thread wraps. And you could even, if you wanted to, you could epoxy these thread wraps and it would make the jig even more durable. All depends on where it's really being fished around. If it's mud and grass, it's alright, but if you're bouncing it off rocks and oyster bars, it can tend to chew them up pretty good. But that's the little pompano jig we're going to use. Beautiful, isn't it?